Niuserre and Akhnaton, Old Kingdom solar inspiration for the Amarna revolution. Innovations of Niuserre. The religious situation in the early 5th dynasty was also deeply challenging. The sun temples at Abu Ghurab played a crucial role in this process. Contrary to mainstream opinion, one still needs to fully acknowledge the supremacy of Re of Heliopolis at this time. The Palermo stone refers to royal donations connected with the sun god Re, yet still in a limited way. When references to Heliopolis are made, it is in connection with the souls of Heliopolis, likely modeled on the archaic example of Hierakonpolis in their concept. The available evidence shows that the king was probably not relying so heavily on the support of the Heliopolitan Re, but in fact, he fashioned a new political and religious concept, by which the king personally managed control of the cult of the principal god of the Old Kingdom pantheon, Re, and associated gods such as Hathor and Horus. It is certainly not by chance that evidence for a high priest is virtually not attested until the late 5th dynasty. This new role of Re is probably due to specific political circumstances as indicated above. Niuserre introduced a completely new architectural form, the solar temple. His 5 successors also built these temples. 2 of them, those belonging to Niuserre and Niuserre, are attested archaeologically. In principle, they imitate the design of a royal mortuary complex in that they consist of a valley temple, a causeway, and an upper temple. The upper temple is divided into a frontal open part dominated by a large courtyard with altars followed by a huge base serving as platform for an obelisk, the principal symbol of the sun god. However, the original concept of sun temples clearly changed as time went on. In the reigns of Niuserre and Saur, it is likely that their original intention was not to create the later typical sun temple with a standing obelisk on a pedestal as from Nefertiti onwards, but rather a rectangular platform, possibly with a mound-high sand inside. In fact, the very first sun temple, built by Niuserre, directly refers to the high mound of Hierakonpolis by its very name Nekhen Re, as a place of royal ceremonies and the ritual of renewal of power. The open courts with altars served primarily in the so-called solarization of various commodities, which were in turn forwarded to individual royal, funerary establishments or used as offerings and payments to the priests employed in the different services of the temples. The Abusier archives provide vivid testimony of the daily traffic in the mortuary temples of the kings and indicate their interconnection with the solar temples. The papyri also attest to the fact that it was the king and the royal residents who had complete control over the flow of commodities into the solar temples, from which, after solarization on the altar's blessing by the sun god Re, they were redistributed to individual mortuary temples. In order to demonstrate the uniqueness and religious importance of his sun temple, Niuserre gave it the name Nekhen Re, linking his complex with the concept of the Nekhen Mound and the traditional religious center, at Hierakonpolis in Upper Egypt. Within this perspective, one should consider his Sun Temple as a place in which the king's life, power, and authority were continually renewed through the daily ritual. The Sun Temples were primarily conceived as sacred places of the daily and eternal renewal of these cultic places can even be viewed as mortuary temples of the sun god, that is, the places of his cyclical process of resurrection.